Oh, these little liars. I told y'all that Jax was the ringleader. I told y'all. He sat in this interview and he was telling stories about shit that he wasn't even there to witness. So let's break down some of the stuff that I heard in this interview. Let's start with Warren's first phone call, because y'all will remember that Warren said that he was over at Ava's house for that 4th of July party when they all started realizing that Nolan was missing, and he called Miss Christine at 11 o'clock.
One of the first things I told Miss Christine Wells in the first phone call that ever occurred with anything to do with Nolan Wells being gone, because I was the first person to call Miss Christine about anything. First phone call, anything to do with Nolan Wells, was me making a phone call to Christine Wells. And one of the first things I said to her, with multiple witnesses here, pull up the phone call if you want. She said, oh, well, Nolan's location is with y'all at, where the house we were at. And I was like, well, no, he left his phone with us. I told her this.
And yesterday, the same time that this interview came out, Christine Wells said this.
360 says that he's on land, and he was like, well, no, I mean, when we have his phone.
So both versions of the story say that Warren didn't tell her about the phone until after she confronted him with the 360. Now, Warren tells Miss Christine that he knows somebody in the Coast Guard and that he's going to call them, which is very fucking different than calling the Coast Guard, which absolutely explains why the Coast Guard came out and said at first that they had not received a call from the kids that night. The Coast Guard's initial statement said they weren't informed until 12:30. Then the Coast Guard later changed their story and said, oh wait, actually we did. And it seems to me that that first call was most likely an off the record to a friend kind of deal, which means these people freaked out and didn't call the Coast Guard until after all these people showed up at Jax's house. Which would explain why in the course of this interview it went from Warren called the Coast Guard to we did. Now, when the subject turns to how the family got the phone back from these boys, you'll notice that there was a couple slip-ups.
Warren, you weren't at the house, and so you weren't there when they came to get the phone and all that. So
now remember, Warren just said that he wasn't at the house when the phone was got. And then Morgan talks about getting a phone call from one of the people in Christine Wells' group.
And how did they get the phone back?
So I got a call from a kid we went to high school with. He called me just asking me questions. He saw people posting on Snapchat, like the picture that was circulating.
Except this picture wasn't posted until July 5th. So how could this picture have been circulating on Snapchat that night? But let's continue.
And he called and he was asking questions. He was like, where's Nolan? When's the last time y'all seen him? And then he was like, so where are y'all at? And I told him, I said, we're at Jax's house. And then Warren got on the phone, and I don't know.
So they come to my house, right? And they kind of
hold on, before we get there. Was it confrontational or was it just trying to find? It was confrontational already.
Wouldn't y'all agree?
Yeah.
He was 110%. He was very confrontational.
And when did was this on the night of the 4th or the next day?
This was the night when this was before they came and got the phone.
So this is the night of the 4th, yes.
You guys are missing a part of the story. How did you get from Ava's house to Jax's house? Because Miss Christine is watching you guys on the Life 360, so suddenly she's seeing the phone leave one location and go to another. Of course I would be upset. And now all of a sudden Warren is there when the phone stuff starts happening? He's listening to the phone call? Now I need y'all to remember that Warren also said that the phone was in his truck on the first conversation, as we have from this report. Meaning if we were to believe Warren that he was not there when everybody showed up looking for the phone at some time in between 11 and 1 a.m., so then that would mean after they heard this angry phone call, Warren gets the phone out of his vehicle and puts it in Jax's house and then leaves.
There's probably like 10, 15 people in my house I don't even know. And they're all up in our faces, going crazy, asking where Nolan is, and we don't know. And finally they get into Wyatt's face, and they're like, where's your boat? Where's the boat at?
Demanding his address.
Demanding his address and stuff like that. And he finally ends up giving it to him. We give them the phone. They have the phone at this point. Then they get the address to his house. Then they go to his house. And they're searching all over his boat, what I heard and stuff like that. Well, anyways, I don't really know much about that, but they come back to my house at around 1 o'clock in the morning.
We called law enforcement. I was with Wyatt at the time. After we left Jax's house that night, I was with Wyatt, and one of one person we were with saw that their location was actually headed towards Wyatt's house. And so Wyatt got on the phone with 911 and was like, hey, these people are on the way to my house or already at my house. My mom and my dad are there alone and they know nothing about this. But Wyatt's mom actually, when they were looking at the boat, they were actually walking from the boat and she came out and started talking to them.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Wyatt, Morgan, and Jax were all together. Warren was gone for some reason at this point. 10 to 15 people just barge into your house. Don't know why your grandparents weren't around. That might explain some things, huh? Guess y'all had the house all to your fucking self that weekend. But then they ask Wyatt for his address so that they can go look at the boat. Wyatt gives them the address. They start heading over there. Wyatt and Morgan get into a car and leave Jax's house. Somebody else that you were with that we aren't hearing about is tracking someone else's phone. I don't know if it was somebody who was with the group that they had access to, or if they were tracking Nolan's phone and they saw it was heading to Wyatt's house. And even though Wyatt gave them the address, and instead of calling his parents, he calls 911 and tells them, my parents don't know anything about that's going on. Can you send police over there? Now, mind you, it was about half an hour after being on the phone with Warren that Christine was able to actually call and report him missing. But she was having to go back and forth and go down to all these different agencies because nobody would fucking help her. And frankly, I want to know why all of this confrontation was left out of the fucking report. Like, if this family had to be removed from 2 different properties by the police, why is there no record of that? And in fact, it wasn't until after these confrontations that MDMR and Ocean Springs Police apparently had their little conversations about who was going to be taking over the case. Because remember, the Jackson County Sheriff Lieutenant told them that deputies had spoken with several friends that had traveled to the island on the vessel with Nolan, and that when they were left, he was in the company of an unknown female. So now, even though Warren had supposedly called the Coast Guard, all these family members are telling the police that the kid is missing. These are the people that last saw them. They're all like, we last saw him on the island. Still, the deputies said that they did not have reason to believe that there was any water-related exigencies or emergencies. Don't worry, y'all. I've got a lot fucking more to say about this stuff. So come back for part 2. I'm going to be immediately recording it because Warren fucked up pretty badly in this interview, and I'll show you why.
Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants Saturday Live. I am Joseph Ward. It's been more than a month and we still don't have any concrete evidence on what happened to Nolan Wells. That's the tragedy. That's crazy as hell. We still don't have any concrete evidence to lead us anyway. We're still in speculation mode, even though a lot of people have that idea of what they believe happened. And as you can see, the people putting together all the information and all these things here. But the main thing is to really be able to get like real justice. We need like real evidence on the table. And it don't seem like we're getting anything that we need. I'm structuring this video today around concepts from Neely Fuller, explaining not just the system of white supremacy, but the religion of white supremacy and how it actually is supposed to work, right? And how it actually works, right? And why we are here. Because that's why we are here, because the system is working the way it's supposed to work. We ain't working the way we supposed to work. And that's the problem. That's the real tragedy, is we not working the way we supposed to work. But the system of white supremacy is working the way it's supposed to work. They are supposed to work overtime to cover up what happened to Nolan Wells. They are supposed to cover their butts. They're supposed to do everything in their power to keep these boys or whoever's involved with this. They're supposed to work overtime to keep them free. We're the ones who's supposed to be working overtime to make sure justice happens. And it seems like it's more about everything else. Like I said the last time I talked about this Nolan Wells case, that's why I was kind of hesitant to do this video today, but it was a couple of things that I kind of want to address with it and make sure we really understand what's happening with this case, right? Because it's not, in my opinion, I haven't seen any real information that can really lead to some kind of arrest, convictions, or any type of justice, any type of anything that can make the Wells family feel better, or not even just feel better, be able to have some real justice. There's nothing coming out. There's no real information. They still can't get the information from the autopsies. They still can't get his organs. I'm going to show you a video in just a few minutes of some discrepancies that's happening within this case. It seems like everybody want to be famous in this. I don't know. It's like I never seen a case like this where it's so much like everybody's talking, like everybody's coming out and everybody has to say their piece. Everybody's talking. I've never really seen that before. But maybe that's the system at play working the way it's supposed to work, right? Because I know when you have a case like this and you hire your lawyers and stuff, a lot of statements are supposed to come out through the lawyers, but we have people speaking over here, and we're going to look at a lot of these things. We're going to look at a video from Hype Plus News giving an update on some of the discrepancies in the case, especially when it comes to Nolan Wells' cell phone and retrieving information off his cell phone. We're going to look at a video from Neely Fuller, breaking down the religion of white supremacy and how that goes into the system. We're looking at statements from Nolan Wells' mother, and then we're going to look at the latest interview with Tatum and the supposed friends of Nolan Wells, and even referencing back to the video that we're just playing in the opening. Everybody keeps saying they love Nolan Wells, but nobody was searching for him. Like, I'm listening to what the young lady's saying and all her ranting and all the information she's giving, but everybody's like in the interview and things that we're gonna watch, everybody's like, we love Nolan. Nolan was our friend. Nolan was a great person, but y'all was not looking for him. And even in the video I'm about to show, it suggests that Warren's Ashley Cole, Warren's stepmom, it suggests that she was on the island that day as well. So when we're talking about this systematic approach to this, looking at it from how we're supposed to look at the system of white supremacy, understand we are supposed to be here. As far as them doing what they're supposed to do, that's supposed to happen. What's not supposed to happen is the way that we're behaving, the way that we're approaching it. That's what's not supposed to happen. We're supposed to do something different to try to get different results, but we're not. And still here we are. So, Kiki, how you doing? Thank you for being here. My man Kush, what's going on? Nemesis, how you doing? The protagonist, how you doing? Eric Boswell, how you doing? Eric says they killed him, yet they're gonna drag this out until no one cares anymore. Well, it seems that they have the power to do that. They have the power to drag it out. They have the power to, because even now, look at it now. Most people are not even talking about Nolan. They're talking about all the stories around Nolan. They're not even really paying attention to really trying to stay on getting information and making sure that they can extract information, making sure that they can get the information from the autopsy so they can get the organs or any other information. It's like all the side shows around it is what's more important or getting more of the attention than staying on the case. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, Nemesis, they are turning into a TV series. They are. That's what I'm saying. They're talking about everything else but staying on the case. Said Emmanuel is going to have to explain why his home state is radio silent when it comes to these nationwide cases. Who is Emmanuel? I don't know exactly who you're referencing to when you say Emmanuel. Who is Emmanuel? All right, so let me play this first video. Oh, let me remember. Please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share, hit that hype button. If you haven't hit that hype button already, please hit that hype button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. you hitting that hype button, you getting in the comments, you hitting that hype button, that help the algorithm, help more people see this information. And hopefully this information can help in some way or another. But people still got to, you know. Oh yeah, you talking about the haircut dude. Yeah, my bad. Man, when you said Emmanuel, he was the last Emmanuel to come to my mind. Cutting with E. Yeah, cutting with E. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Yeah, Sambo Swamp Beard. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, Sambo Swamp Beard. That's right. You said Emmanuel. Like when you said Emmanuel, I was thinking about real black people named Emmanuel. My bad. Hey man, Butter Biscuit Swamp Beard. Yeah. All right, let me play this video real quick for y'all.
Ibis Club Friday Plus News. I'm John Nava. Breaking news coming out of Mississippi. It appears that the family of Nolan Wells and their representatives are showing growing concerns with how parts of the investigation of Wells' death is being handled by Mississippi DA Angel Myers McIlrath. In the last 72 hours, it appears that exchanges have been made by the DA and Wells' representatives on a follow-up regarding the investigation of Wells' phone, along with body parts not presented for Wells' independent autopsy. If you can recall, when this story first broke, Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, would reveal early concerns with Nolan's phone appearing to have messages deleted due to not detecting any social media activity in his phone within 24 hours after he went missing, once it was recovered from Wells' friends. Because of this, Wells' family and their attorney, Benjamin Crump, would agree to do a joint investigation of the phone with the DA. Now, according to a new email sent out by another one of Wells' family representatives to McIlrath, they would end up calling out the latest move by the DA in an unreleased email they would receive that demanded they turn over the phone within a 48-hour period while they were not in Mississippi, which looks to go against what was originally agreed upon. In the email sent by newly appointed attorney Ahmad R. Smith, it will go on to read, Dear District Attorney McIlrath, thank you for your correspondence dated August 12, 2026. As Mississippi counsel for the Nolan Wells family, A.R. Smith Law will serve as the primary point of contact for the legal team so communications with your office can be coordinated efficiently. We agree the examination of Nolan's phone was discussed during the July 15th meeting that our team undertook to follow up concerning that process. During that discussion, however, we agreed to a jointly coordinated forensic examination of the phone that would include the use of the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, as well as FBI involvement. Subsequent correspondence with your office reflected our continued willingness to proceed through a mutually agreeable procedure. Additionally, Mr. Hertz contacted you on July 25th while traveling abroad and indicated that he would reconnect upon his return.
Now remember, as we're listening to him read this letter between the attorneys and the DA, remember how Neely Fuller explains the system of white supremacy to us, right? Because we're talking about a system of domination that dominates all 9 areas of human activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and counter-war. Full domination, full control of all 9 areas of human activity. Not 25% control, not 75%, not 50%, 100% control. Means we dictate what happens in all 9 areas of human activity, as long as we have the power to dictate what happens in all 9 areas of human activity. This no longer happens if they have a force that is stronger than them and can shut them down. I know we like to talk about the one day, but you got to make that stuff happen. But just realizing what's happening, right? These lawyers, the people who are representing Nolan Wells, are sending a letter to the DA saying, hey, we agreed on these terms to search through Nolan Wells' phone equally so we can find the information we need. And you are manipulating or even reneging on the terms that we agreed to so it can further tip the scales in your way. So you can maintain the control that you have on this case already. Remember that, because this is the foundation we setting for this show.
Accordingly, our prior correspondence with your office should not be understood to suggest that our legal team had been unwilling to facilitate a forensic examination of the phone. To date, Nolan's parents remain willing to facilitate an appropriate forensics examination of Nolan's phone, including FBI involvement, according to our agreement on July 15th. However, your letter sent to Eric Hertz on August 12th at 12:51 p.m. set a deadline for the Wansleys to deliver the phone to your office by August 14th at 9 a.m. This is not practicable for a number of reasons. First, the date and time you proposed provided less than 48 hours notice. Moreover, the Wansleys were outside Mississippi when your letter was sent and are not scheduled to return until after the deadline you unilaterally imposed. Second, the parties never agreed to simply deliver the phone to your office. Instead, the agreement was that we would set a mutually agreeable date and time for the phone to be examined together by your office's forensic professionals, our forensic professionals, and possibly the FBI as well. Third, the parties have not yet agreed upon a forensic protocol addressing, at a minimum, the scope and method of the examination, chain of custody, preservation of the forensic extraction, access to resulting forensic data, treatment of information outside the agreed scope, retention of the extraction, and return of the device. We are prepared to promptly address those logistics so that the examination can proceed while preserving the integrity of the evidence and the interests of all concerned. Please send us your proposed protocol as soon as possible. As soon as the protocol is agreed on, we will be able to schedule the forensic examination of the phone immediately. With respect to the independent investigation, the legal team has reviewed the tips received and has followed up with the persons whose information appeared relevant. At present, that process has not identified additional witnesses whom the legal team reasonably believes possesses information germane to potential criminal activity that warrants referral to your office. We continue to follow up and vet these potential witnesses. At present, the family is not requesting that any additional document, recording, photograph, digital media, report, or other material in the legal team's possession be submitted to the grand jury. This response should not be understood as representation concerning privilege, confidentiality, attorney work product, expert, or other protected materials, nor as undertaking a continuing production obligation beyond what the law requires. Regarding Dr. Mitchell, we appreciate that you will make available Nolan's body parts that were not previously sent to Dr. Mitchell. As reflected in your July 29th correspondence, your office previously stated that Dr. Mitchell would have an opportunity to examine Nolan's complete body in advance of any grand jury testimony. At this time, Dr. Mitchell's requests that you provide 3 available dates in which he can examine the body parts that he was not able to access. We are prepared to move that process forward promptly through counsel. Thank you for following up with us regarding the threats and intimidation against Nolan's family. We have collected information from the family and will be sending that information to your office in the near future. The family and legal team remain committed to a careful and complete investigation of the circumstances surrounding Nolan's death. We believe the most productive path forward is focused, documented cooperation on matters that will materially advance that investigation while preserving the integrity of the evidence and the legal rights and obligations of everyone involved. Now,
so before he before I show a little more of this, think about once again why this letter had to be written, what was said in this letter. Hey, we're trying to hold you all accountable for so you can actually do what you said you was gonna do. You were supposed to send the body parts in the autopsy. The body parts didn't get sent in the autopsy. Well, what was missing that could actually make them send those body parts? Maybe power and consequences was missing from the equation that could actually make them send those body parts. What could actually make the DA stick to the agreement as far as when it comes to looking at the forensics or going through the forensic search of the phone? Well, maybe power and consequences. Well,